How many news stations do you know have a friggin' samurai sword? Let's go. So now we've got somebody north of the border, Kristen from Canada. Nurse Kristen from Canada is going to be dropping some bombs. I can't wait to hear because I've heard Canada's bad. There she is, Kristen Nagel. Let's do it, girl. She's in. On it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Kristen from Canada.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Very well.
Yeah.
So thanks. Thank you for spending time with us and doing. First of all, just thank you for you guys being you. This is so courageous, brave, and heartwarming and amazing and inspiring. And I love what you guys are doing. I'm really appreciative me. And so I can't wait to hear your perspective. Take us through what's going on in Canada.
Yeah, I think I come in with a little bit of a different perspective than some of the big stories you heard from Aaron in New York. I actually work in the neonatal intensive care unit, so I work with premature babies. So my journey kind of started with that and with my own kids and just kind of realizing, I guess, the corruption with our food, water, just the continuing how our bodies are just continuing being poisoned, even from a physical side, but spiritual side. And then watching what was happening to these little babies in the unit and even the mothers giving birth. And I really just started to kind of wake up to that. And then throw COVID in, and I'm on a 12-hour shift wearing full mask and visors around these babies who are in isolates, and there's no risk in our unit. And our unit's even telling us that, we're just there to signal that we're doing the right thing. It's just for signal,
Are you
like
serious?
sending us.
That's
Yeah.
what was said?
Oh yeah, because there's many of us that have asked for the policy, show us the policy, why we need to be fully masked and gowned on a totally 12-hour shift. Even in our break room, they move the desks out. We have to social distance in our break room, wear the mask if we're not eating in a break room on all hospital property, outside, everywhere. And it's like, well, show us the policy. And they can't. And even when they try to show us some evidence, the evidence they show us, the references don't follow up. It's nothing there. And interesting enough, in 2015, 5 years ago, the Ontario Nurses Association fought for nurses wearing masks, because if we didn't get the flu shot, then nurses would have to wear masks. So a lot of people would just get the flu shot so they didn't have to wear a mask for their entire shift, because it's a long time. So we fought for this, our organization fought for this in 2015, and we won, because they found that it was unethical, there was no science behind it, and now, because this is new, it's all thrown out the window. All the science, all the fighting, all the things that they did, it doesn't matter anymore.
My God. My God. How long have you been a nurse?
14 years.
And you've never seen anything like this, right?
No. These measures, everything that's happening, no. And I know the RTs in our unit, they were told that when things got crazy, they were going to have to transfer. So respiratory therapists, if they were told they're going to have to transfer to the adult units, because we work with babies, they're like, you're going to have to remember how to use events. You're going to have to get trained or, work with adults in these units. And they're opening up overflows. They closed off an entire gynecology wing for COVID patients. It remained empty the whole time. They closed off other wings, remained empty. They're shutting down procedures, gynecology procedures, all these things. Dads were no longer allowed in the ORs when their wives were having C-sections giving birth. So there was almost 10 staff in the OR with doctors, nurses, the OBs, anesthetists, but the fathers of the baby being born, the husbands of these wives, or the partners, whether it was husband or not, the partners, they weren't allowed in there. One extra person, one of the most important person that should be in there, was not allowed for the birth of their child. And occasionally mothers have to go under emergency C-section, so they get put under general and they're completely knocked out.
Yeah.
So thought about this, and I was like, both parents just missed the birth of their child. And the antenatal wings, sometimes mothers are there for months at a time. They're on bed rest. It's highly stressful. It's high risk pregnancy. And they restricted visitors to one support person the entire time they're on the unit. If they have other children, they were not allowed to see their children. If they put down their own mother, then their partner couldn't come in. Then they had to choose their partner or their parents, their children, one person the entire time they're in bed rest on the antenatal wing. And this is a stressful time. You're carrying and you're growing like a baby, and
Right.
you're alone in the stress and everything. And like, what does that do? What does that pass down to, right? And just even survival and mortality rates after that. And plus, you know, we see 23 weekers, and you have a 23 weeker. They're in our unit for 100 days or more, and again, only one visitor at the bedside. And this is an incredibly stressful time. And, you know, we do our best to support the parents, but they need their own support people to be with them at the bedside during these crucial moments.
Kristen, when were you like, something's not right? Like at what month in this whole thing were you like, this is not good?
Always.
Like from like March 12th, like March 13th, you were like, dude, this is not right.
Well, I watched it happening in Wuhan in December, and I was like, what is everyone worried about? It's a flu. This is all BS. And it's because I've done a lot of research on germ theory versus terrain. So I'm kind of one of those fringe, you know, I got a lot of slack by my colleagues because my holistic views, and, you know, I don't treat my kids' fevers. I let their bodies do their job, and that's frowned upon. And so I don't believe in contagion. And from all the research I've done, and I've researched it enough. And so when this was happening, I was like, no, just take care of your body. And, you know, there's ways. And all these people that kept coming back to me, they're being, well, I'm immunosuppressed and I'm immunocompromised. I'm like, well, there's still ways that we can do that. And it's not my responsibility. And that's going to sound really selfish, and that's probably not going to come across right.
It's not.
But we have to take care of ourselves, and no one is responsible for your health or your body except for you. And wearing a mask to protect you doesn't protect you. It keeps you in victim mode. And I don't play that game. I'm not a victim. I have a sovereign body, and I'm empowered. And that's why I was so mad at all this, because we're creating generations of hypochondriacs. You know, that used to be an illness. People used to go to therapy sessions, you know, to get over their hypochondria. We're creating a society of germaphobes. Our children are being conditioned that they are threats, that they're literally walking threats that can kill grandma, and that they have to wear a mask, that they have to fear their own bodies. And we are more bacteria than we are human cells. We have a microbiome, we have a virome, and if we start fearing viruses and bacteria, like, we literally just fear ourselves, and fear equals illness. Like, it's just, to me, it just has to stop. Like, it's been 100 years of bad science, and this is the turning point. Like, we need to stop now and change the entire trajectory for the next 100 years. Because right now we've been on bad, outdated, unproven science for the past 100 years. Going back to Louis Pasteur and germ theory and all that. Sorry, I go on rants on all this stuff.
This is bananas. I love this because I'm on your board. I'm on board with you. Like, and I was fringe, right, for 20 years, like you whack, and now everyone's being thrust to the forefront. We're actually kind of we're right. Like, if there was something, it just makes more sense, whether it's right or wrong. This side makes more sense, right?
Yes.
Psychological damage, touch upon that, of masking kids. I don't think I did a big video of, we're global, stop masking your kids. Please stop masking your kids, because is there more than just a physical fallout that's coming from these kids being masked, healthy kids being masked, and like, what do you think?
Absolutely. So how I kind of got known and thrown out there is because I stood out at City Hall, and I did a speak in City Hall, and I spoke out about the masking on kids, which led me to a local group within Ontario that is filing a lawsuit against the school boards against masks on children, and then, you know, and so on. And then I continued to follow this path and speak out. But it was because I spoke out about masks on children, that was one of the first times where people reported me to my college. Crazy. It's like, really? Like, you're just okay with masking up your children? Like, I kept my kids home from school because I didn't want them being around that. But yeah, the psychological damage is crazy, because even if they say that, you know, they're fine and they're happy, it creates this fear. Like, it puts in their head that there's something wrong. Something I'm breathing out is unhealthy and wrong. Like, there's something in the air, there's something I'm breathing out. Like, it creates this subconsciousness that there's something wrong with them. You know, even if you try to talk to them about it, the mask does all the subconscious work. So it doesn't matter how you try and talk to it. The mask says more than anything you can talk to them. And seeing other kids in masks, seeing teachers in masks, it really, there's psychological damage. And it creates this inner fear. Prolonged fear is terror. Terror is trauma. And the trauma these kids are facing is irreversible. Like, I don't even know what's going to happen to this next generation. It's crazy.
I know I'm worried about that the most. And
And the emotional connection. Like when I'm working in the NICU with these parents that need our support, well, any nursing job, right? Like you want to connect to the patients,
sure.
these babies that you're taking out, like we're masked and gowned and they can't see anything. Like I can't imagine even just what that visual fear does to these small children and the babies alone. Like this is the first thing they're seeing out of the womb, and like what is happening. And our young children. My boys are young, and I'm just, I don't know. I try. I just want them to smile and see smiling faces. Speech. It affects speech, emotional capabilities of
sure.
all of it. Yeah.
Your boys are very fortunate to have a mom who's doing this right now. So we're having our first taste of. They're trying to pass a bill in New York. I don't know if it passed or not. To FEMA camp, where you can take somebody who refuses masks or refuses flu shot or vax, like to a camp. You guys have had those though, correct?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, we do.
You already have.
People still like to call us conspiracy theorists, but they're all across Canada. They're there. Actually, it got reported. Sorry, I'll let you finish. And then there's
no, go. I mean, you physically have seen these things popping up all over the place, correct? Like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what are they described as? What are they to you guys? Like, what are you told they are?
That they're federal quarantine camps. Yeah.
For
if you don't have more than one bathroom in your house, if you can't quarantine from your family, if you don't have a safe place to go isolate, or they're not coming straight out and saying if you refuse things yet. But they're just saying if you don't have a place that you can isolate from your family, and they check, do you have more than one bathroom, or do you have this space? Do you have 2 layers in your house, or 2 floors? Yeah,
sure.
You can go on to. Yeah.
So what do you guys? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so this comes up because I'm another nurse from Toronto. We fly out on the 5th and we return on the 7th. The 7th is the first day the federal government of Canada has decided anyone flying internationally has to come within 72 hours, has to have a negative PCR test. Within 72 hours of returning into Canada. And January 7th is the first day that this starts. And there's absolutely no way now I'm taking a PCR test.
Yes.
But they say it right on the website that they put it in there, like if for whatever reason they decide needed, you may end up in one of their federal quarantine camps. It's right on, now it's very visible, it's there.
Okay, so I flew to New York, I flew to Miami, and they over the overhead are like, we really suggest you quarantine for 14 days. Log into this website. I'm like fuck you. Are you kidding me? I'm not doing anything. So you are you. You're this very strong, courageous, confident, pure woman. Your approach is going to be, hell no. So
maybe I'll try a little politer on this stance, though, when I'm there. Try not to rock the boat too much, but.
But what is the order? What if they? You're good. What if they what are they going to do? What is the order of operations in Canada? I love this.
I don't have a good stand. I don't know. And I was actually on the phone today with Air Canada, that's who I'm flying with, and as well as the Border Patrol, and none of them know. It was a media release that the government came out with. They released it through the media first. Now the airlines are trying to catch up and figure out what do you want us to do. And still today they have no idea. They passed the buck on to Border Control, and the Border Patrol were like, we will never deny you entry to your home country. That is a breach of constitutional rights, and we will never breach the constitutional rights, ever. And so they're like, once you're on Canadian soil, you'll always be welcomed home. But they said it's the airline that can deny you because it's a private entity. So they're both passing the buck. So they, even when I called the Border Patrol today, they're like, we've been asking Ottawa for more direction. That's where our premier is. And they're like, call us back at the end of the day. Maybe we'll have more answers for you. So this is happening in 2 days. You don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're coming back from a frontline summit where you're speaking against this stuff. I'll be right there, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So this is strong. So it's really, all you guys are and this is what we're trying to get, push back. You know what I mean? I mean, is that really the advice? I'm all about action, right? And so there's, hundreds of people on here listening, regardless whether you're in America, Canada, it doesn't matter. Push back.
This only ends when we stand up and say enough is enough. And people don't realize that. People keep thinking that this will go away. We'll just have to do our part. We're just going to do this. Don't they realize we've been at this for 10 months and they just keep taking more and more away? This has never been about a virus. It never has. It's always political. And this is not going to end until we say enough is enough and no more. And enough people have to stop doing, because I know there's so many people out there that just say, you know, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to stand out. I just want to put my head down and follow the rules. And even if I don't believe in it, I just want to follow the rules and not get in trouble. Yeah. No, but by complying, then you're consenting, and it's not going to end. It's not going to end until enough of us say enough is enough. This is a political game. It's never been about health. If this was about health, they'd be talking about stuff that we talk about. Food, movement, mindset, right. Nutrition, vitamin D, and like all this good stuff, right. Your microbiome.
Right. Right. Do you have now...
McDonald's wouldn't be an essential service.
Or open still, right? Like you can't buy seeds, but you can go to McDonald's. Like,
yes.
Plant. Okay.
No.
You married?
Yes.
Full support from spouse?
Yes. At first, I don't know if he had like a choice, but now he's like full in, because I decided with
how do you go against you?
Well, I went to City Hall. I spoke out. I got in trouble for that. I decided I was going to organize a successful freedom rally in my hometown. Let's just say that the hospital did not like that very much. So that made pretty public news. A nurse organizing a freedom rally.
Are you still employed?
No.
Them?
No, I can't talk about it too much, but I've been reprimanded.
So you're risking a lot. Like you're risking everything.
Absolutely. I can't stand back. And just even lately, I've noticed, because again, this is probably stuff that that I can talk to you about, because like HIV, down that rabbit hole, contagion. This is something that Dr. Fauci was part of back then. And this is what Gary Mellon was talking about with the PCR test. Conveniently enough, he died in 2019 before this one, because he was trying to blow the whistle on HIV. It's not a thing. It is not a thing.
No.
It's not a thing. It's not what we think it is, and it's been blown out of proportion. And I couldn't take it anymore when I have been watching healthy babies, beautiful, healthy babies, being pumped with antivirals because mom might be positive with HIV. And that's when I was like, enough. What are we doing to these babies? I've watched
How long ago was that? Kristen, how long ago was that?
A month and a bit ago? Well, when was I? Well, before that. Early November.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, and so we're gowning and gloving because it's carcinogenic, and we can't be around this drug, and we can't be around the baby's urine or feces because it's toxic. But we're pumping this into the baby because it's a prophylactic.
Oh my God.
Antivirals, just heavy poisons and toxins. And I was like, no, we are poisoning these babies. And interesting enough with CREMS, as I mentioned, that we have our 23-week babies that come in. They're there for 100 days.
Sure.
So their first vaccinations, well, at birth, right as soon as they're born, 23 weeks, they get vitamin K and the erythromycin. Okay. And the erythromycin is like antibiotics because mom might have chlamydia.
I know.
The Canadian Pediatric Association has already said that shouldn't be done anymore. But our hospital and many other hospitals are like, well, we don't want to change the policy. It's what's always been done. Like, it's not needed. Anyways, vitamin K, terrible, but okay. So that's happened at birth. Even in our 23-weekers, that's happening. But then at 60 days old, it doesn't matter if you were born at 23 weeks or full term, 60 days of your life. So these 23-weekers aren't even a full term baby, and they're getting their first round of the 2 months of vaccinations. And I have watched babies be in kind of our step down unit, and they have, they're getting ready to go home, they're doing well, all these things. They get their first doses of vaccinations, and what do you know, they're having spells, needing breathing support, and they come back in our unit. And then so silly me, being like, hey, well, do you think it has something to do with like the vaccinations they got? Oh, no. Or it's like, or that's a common side effect. They brush it off. That's just, that happens. They got their vaccinations today, so we expect some spells and some breathing difficulties.
My God.
So that's when I'm like, enough is enough. I can't be a part of this. I want to actually help people. Like, I went into nursing to help people. And I miss the connections that I would make with families. I loved the families. I loved like the babies. I loved watching the little moments that parents got to connect with, all their first little things, it was truly quite beautiful, but I couldn't be a part of that system anymore when I just don't believe in it.
Kristen, what's your plan?
I don't have one.
Yeah. We'll
just
find
day
out.
by day.
Find out
day
tomorrow.
By day.
No, I love it. And so because you feel the way you do, you're going to be first in line to get the new vaccination, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll be posting my picture. I'll be taking those incentives. Give me that paycheck to post my social media campaign. Oh yeah,
Videoing
sign me
yourself.
right
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough,
Yeah,
enough
yeah,
said.
that's a hard no.
You're a force. You're amazing. I want to put up, how can people follow you? What's your handle on here?
Yeah, I'm just at Kristen Nagel. I think that's it. I think I took down all my titles because I wasn't allowed to use them anymore.
Nagle.
Yeah, even as a holistic nutritionist, my board's coming after me because I'm going against public health guidelines. So you're getting it
Of
from all
course.
ends.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
That's
Mhm.
I know a lot of personal doctors who are ready to drop their licenses just because they don't want to be a part of it anymore. You know,
Mhm. Oh
like
yeah.
just the whole system. Even chiropractic, I may not renew just because the whole thing is a part of something just so big and toxic, and I'm okay.
Yeah, they're too
Um,
controlled.
all right, hold on. I'm gonna pin this. I don't know how to freaking pin it. Hold on. You guys are commenting too fast. I know
I know. I was
Kristen's
like,
awesome. I know she's awesome. Wait, so how you have to, guys, at Kristen Nagel. I don't
yeah,
know.
I think there's an underscore in there. I have to double check. Yeah,
Oh shit.
Kristen underscore Nagel.
Wait,
There. I'm
guys,
gonna
here.
type it. Yeah.
At Kristen underscore Nagel. Just follow her right now so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're a super duper minority in your field.
Yes,
Correct?
yeah, because I believe in like herbs. I teach a class on herbal medicine, like plants. My colleagues definitely they lost it when I started talking about catnip for fevers for kids. That did not go over well.
So wait,
Bone broth and all.
how were you exposed to all this? Like how, because it's not the schools or anything else. Like what drew you to it in the first place? I'm just super curious before we sign off.
I think I've always just been into nature. I did this course called Brawny Creek Project when I was in grade 12, and
Okay.
you went every day to like this nature reserve and you learned how to cook vegan meals. You learned about earth and connection, all this stuff. And I've always been an outdoor person. And then I moved into nursing to help people. And then I got, bought into the indoctrination and all this stuff. And then when my first son was born, I was able to step away on my maternity leave in Canada. We're extremely lucky we have a year off. So I had that year off to be away from that system and find myself again. And I connected to food. I found nutrition, holistic nutrition, went down this rabbit hole of the corruption around our food and soil. Soil is a big passion of mine. That's a whole other topic, but yeah. So I just, I wanted to find a more natural life and get back into the outdoors. That's where I've been happy. And then I went to nutrition school, and through that, herbs, foraging, that's my latest thing, has been getting into backyard edibles. So I teach people about like all the food that's literally outside your doorstep, just all these plants and everything that we can have. And in London, where I am, we host a forest school for kids, and we're still doing it. We're not supposed to, but we get the kids out and we teach them about foraging and food and how to plant things and all the stuff outdoors and how to like identify things even in the winter. So the kids are outside picking like mustard and whatever, carrots and all these things from the ground, all the weeds, and I don't know. So yeah, no, I'm a super minority even in this group that I'm part of, but that's okay. I'm kind of used to being that way.
I love it. I love it. Well, I love everything you're doing, and I'm super appreciative for everything you guys are doing and stand for. Absolutely. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So of course, so you guys, 9 o'clock this Wednesday Eastern time, and it's going to be streamed through the Frontline Doc.
Yeah, in Vaxxed Canada, for anyone in Canada watching this, we'll be streaming it to Vaxxed Canada as well. And if I can do a really quick shout out, on January 23rd, we're hosting a Canadian press release for the Canadian nurses, because there hasn't been many of us standing up, and we're looking for Canadian nurses to come forward. So please find me or find Sarah, my other Canadian partner, at Nurses Against Lockdowns. Find us. We need nurses that want to stand up publicly or anonymously. And January 23rd, we're going to do a huge, massive press release for Canadian nurses. So it's going to be a chapter underneath the global frontline nurses. We're going to be the Canadian frontline nurses, and hopefully other chapters will follow suit as well.
I love it. Kristen, thank you so much. You're amazing. You're amazing.
Thank you for talking so much.
No, not enough. I wish we had more time.
Yeah.
All right, Kristen, thank you so much.
Welcome. Bye.
Good luck Wednesday.
Thank you. Bye.
Guys, that was huge. My God, this is amazing. Are you freaking kidding me? That woman? Could you imagine getting her as a nurse? Like, hello, That's like the greatest day in a hospital. You have her as a nurse. She's talking about herbs and planting gardens and teaching her kids how to. She kept her kids out of school so they wouldn't have to be exposed to masks. All right, let's keep pushing, dude. This group is huge. This is awesome. All right, closing out. See you guys soon. Let's keep this rolling.